Hi guys, welcome to Studio Wildlife. I'm delighted to announce that I've been selected as the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation Artist of the Month for August. Basically what that is that 50% of all of my artworks submitted through the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation, 50% of all those proceeds will actually go to conservation efforts to help rescue and conserve all of the endangered species of Africa and Asia. Today I'm going to be drawing this lion here, and this lion will be available for purchase through the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation website. I will put a link to that in the description below, and I'm basically going to film my process, and please go and check out the website, go and check out the shop, and if you can, please donate or purchase some of the artwork. Anyway, I'm going to get started. I hope you enjoy the video. If you enjoy the video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to Studio Wildlife. So, like all my drawings, I've started with a rough blocking, and then I am just using my charcoal pouch. This is just an old sock, and just blocking in the darks and giving a base coat. Then I use the blending stump, and I just use it to refine the drawing a little bit more, put those shadows in where I want them to go, and add the real dark areas. This isn't as dark as I will actually go because I'll use more vine charcoal and some charcoal pencils later on, but this is just there to map out where I want those basic dark shapes to be. I do this for the whole drawing, so I start with the face because I think the face is the most important part of an animal that you're drawing. That's where you want to convey that life. And then I just move on using that blending stump very, very roughly. Sometimes use my fingers just to mix it up a little bit, and just blocking in those basic shadows, basically just blocking in the drawing. Next I use a putty eraser or a putty rubber. I find these are really good, but you do have to make sure to manipulate them and move them around in your hands between each chunk of picture that you're doing, because they tend to get covered in charcoal, they get a bit dirty, so you need to make sure you knead them to keep them in shape and to make sure they're removing enough charcoal. Most of the detail that I get from my pictures are from this step, so it's removing that charcoal rather than adding charcoal for the details. As we get to the mane, I'm being a bit looser, but I'm making sure to vary the strokes a lot more. I really love working with charcoal in this way because it's very malleable, it's very movable on the page. You can add it in, you can take it away, you can rub it about, and every single mark you're making is different. And you can't make two marks that are exactly the same with the way that I use my charcoals, which is really good because it adds that interest to the paper, to the page, to the picture that you're drawing. When I'm painting and drawing, I like my pictures to appear almost buttery, so I don't like my marks to be too harsh and to be too vibrant. I like them to blend in with the marks around them. So as I'm going in with this putty eraser, I'll then use a little brush just to blend them back a little bit. I do very similar things when I'm painting as well. Especially when you're doing hairs like the hairs of the back, it's important that the hairs aren't all the same length, they aren't all the same shape, they aren't all going in the same direction. You need to make sure they are changing the direction slightly. Now that is one of the biggest tips that will improve your wildlife art. So for this piece, I then needed to darken the hairs. I needed to darken the face because it was looking a little bit flat. So to do that, I got my vine charcoal. This is just a cheap stick of vine charcoal, and I used it to bring in and add in some of those darker areas, those darker hairs, and the black of the mouth and the spots of the muzzle. Again, because I didn't want it looking too harsh, I used a brush just to blend those new marks back into the old marks to make it look a bit butterier, to make it look a bit smoother and flow a little bit. I'm not too fussed about detail, and I did realise that I made a mistake at this point in my drawing, but it was really easy just to correct with charcoal. That is one of the things that I love about charcoal, is that just like paints, it's really easy to correct mistakes that you make by adding things on or removing charcoal from the page. Okay, again, all I'm doing is blocking in the shape of the mane. If you'd like to know more about how I paint mains and how I draw mains, I do have a video that I'll put a little screen cap so you can see it now. I'm not focusing too much on the detail on the back because I want all of the attention to be on its face. I just want its back to sort of fade into nothing. Fade away, lose that detail. I'm just refining the shape, refining the hairs with that putty eraser, just bringing back some of those hairs that I lost. Now, because I like to abstract my pieces a little bit, I use a bigger, thicker piece of charcoal and add in some abstract marks, adding a little bit of the background. I am blending it a little bit with my finger and bringing back some of those details, and then I use a charcoal pencil just to add in the final darks of the picture. Okay, the whiskers, I just use the putty eraser, making sure it's sharply moulded to a point. And then I wasn't sure whether to do just an entirely black background or do my splash effect, but I thought because I hadn't done much detail, I thought I'd do my splash effect. Hi guys, thanks for watching. This is the finished drawing. As you can see here, it's sort of a mix between abstract and realism. I've got more detail around the face and a little bit less detail around the body because I wanted it to appear like it was fading out, fading away, because obviously these creatures are going extinct, so I wanted that symbolised by the fading away of its body, the fading away of the detail. So I missed a few steps here. This is the charcoal dripping the abstract technique. But if you want to find out more about how I do those techniques, head over to my last How to Draw a Lion video, which will show you my technique for using charcoal and acetone on paper to create these drips and splashy effects. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you're looking for more wildlife art tips, please head over to studiowildlife.com.